everybody. How you guys doing today? I got NeanderPaul down here with me today. We're strumming some guitars. We're talking current events. We're just kind of hanging out at the shop. How was your 4th of July?
I didn't work, so it was good. I actually didn't even get dressed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I woke up. Well, I'll tell you what. It started off great. It ended shitty. And that's because people, for whatever reason, adults have this need, this incessant need to blow off fireworks at 11:30 at night. Like, I get it at like 9 o'clock, everybody has their big display.
Yeah, as soon as it gets dark out.
Yeah.
For an hour,
but like
maybe
all the municipalities, they do it at like 9 o'clock. You know, 9 o'clock is the big, for 15, 20 minutes, it's the big deal. Or sometimes 10 o'clock,
Here's how cool my 21-year-old son is. Maybe he's 22 now. I don't know.
Really?
Their age changes every year.
Yeah, they get older every year. Funny how that works out.
I can't keep up.
Right.
But me and my son, I think it was maybe Monday or Tuesday night, we went over and between the two of us, we spent like $100 on fireworks.
So that's $50 a piece.
And then but yesterday I just stayed home. Actually, I cleaned my shower out and I got the Ajax out and I cleaned my bathtub last night.
This is riveting television.
But my son, being such a good kid that he is, he went out with his sister. They went out, they drove up, they went four-wheeling, they shot off fireworks and everything. And by the time he got home, he's like, well, Dad, it's like 11 o'clock. Maybe it's not a good idea to shoot any more fireworks off.
Well, so that's just good parenting right there. That's what that is. Your kid's smarter than you are.
I was like, you're probably right. That's not shit. The old lady across the street will get mad.
No, that's what you want, though. You want your kid to be smarter than you are.
That's true. Every generation get a little bit smarter. All
right. Before we get into the current event stuff, let's talk about what we're holding.
Okay.
This is a 1973 Gibson Les Paul Deluxe Gold Top. Probably the most famous person you've seen play at Deluxe would be Pete Townsend. Pete Townsend in the 70s was playing guitars like this.
You have that tuner off there.
Yeah, it's in pretty good shape. I mean, like a lot of guitars, like a lot of Les Pauls, this is one of the only flaws in Gibson's design. It's had a headstock job, but the headstock job is as close to immaculate as you can ask for.
Professionally repaired.
Yeah, professionally done. And for those people that worry about headstock jobs, don't. It's the only analogy I can make, and this
you
is
said headstock job.
The only analogy I can make for you is that it's kind of like when you break a bone. If you break a bone, you'll never break a bone in that spot again. The bone where the spot where the break is actually stronger than it was before. That's absolutely true when it comes to a headstock job. Now, that having been said, if the wood around it is already damaged, I mean, obviously you want to proceed with care, but this one here has had a really good job. You can't really see it. You'll probably want to zoom in or whatever you want to do. Take a still shot of that and zoom in. That's about as good as you're going to get for a headstock job. It's as clean as you could possibly ask for. It still has the volute. That's how good it is. The volute wasn't damaged.
What year did they start with that volute?
It was a Norland thing. It was a
69, 70, 71?
Somewhere around there, yeah. When Norland took over Gibson, they looked at what they thought were design flaws, and they're right. It is a design flaw of some of the Gibsons, SGs, Les Pauls. This doesn't have the 17-degree angle. I want to say it's 12. I think that's what the Norland guys did, which is what Epiphone does on their Les Pauls. But the quote-unquote proper angle is 17 degrees. Because of that angle, there's no use of a string tree. Like if you look at that Strat, you've got a string tree right there that creates tension across the nut to try and keep the tension across the nut to keep the guitar in tune. Les Pauls and Gibson guitars they use the angled neck to do that. The problem is it's a one-piece neck. And when you angle wood like that and it falls, you can get a chance for a crack. So they put what they call a volute. It's a little bump on the back there. And they also...
Just to add some girth.
Allegedly, to add some girth. And I guess it worked.
Does it work?
I don't know. I've never broken one, so...
Go ahead and drop that thing.
Yeah, I'll just drop this and we'll see if it works. Also, you'll notice the Norlands, one of the things about a Les Paul, it's supposed to be, in theory, a solid piece of mahogany. Now, Gibson has gone through different weight relief things. They've got the Swiss cheese holes, they've got the chambering, they've got now what they call modern weight relief, which is like triangular divots cut out of it. Back in the 70s, Norland took two pieces of wood and glued them together. So you'll notice there's a seam down the outside of this guitar.
Pancake.
It's called a pancake, yeah. But other than that, I mean, these are starting to get They're starting to become really, really collectible. It's got the deluxe mini humbuckers on it. It's got the pointers, the original pointers for the volume knob. It's got a brass nut on it. It's got a brass truss rod cover. It's had some work done to it, but it's a nice guitar.
Nice little fiddle.
Yeah, I can talk about them. I can talk about them, but I can't play them. No, it's a beautiful guitar.
That sounds good.
And I think it's for sale at ZIMM'S Guitars here in Mesa.
Here's what I'm saying about I can't play a guitar. Here's the thing. If you can do this, that means you can play a guitar. See there? Whoa! Fly by night!
I'm almost Rush now.
So, let's talk your guitar collection a little bit. You love collecting guitars?
Yeah, for a guy, I've been trying to play since 1979. My first one was a Les Paul copy. It's a piece of shit. It's made by a company called Allegretto, which was one of the Japanese companies back in the 70s that were making a bunch of Les Paul copies.
Those are getting really cool now.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe. It was $110 and my old man got ripped off. But I fell in love with Les Paul guitars when I saw Ace Frehley. Now, everybody thinks, Jimmy Page or Peter Frampton or Eric Clapton.
I love Frampton.
Or Mike Bloomfield or Peter Green or one of those guys. But it was Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley was the guy. Ace Frehley sold a lot of Les Paul guitars. I would say that in the 70s, Ace Frehley sold more Les Paul guitars than Jimmy Page did.
How cool is that his center pickup would catch on fire and start smoking?
Yeah, it was like a fuse.
Awesome.
It was like a smoke bomb. And when he had only the two pickups, the neck pickup would do that. So I fell in love with Les Pauls. And then I discovered Hendrix and I went through a Strat phase.
How many Kiss concerts have you been to?
I don't know. First time I saw them, they had broken up. Well, they took their makeup off. Let's put it that way. The original Kiss broken up. I think the first time I saw them.
I saw the mid '80s.
Yeah.
No makeup.
Yeah, I saw them. I mean, the first time I might have seen them on the Animalized tour when they had Mark St. John.
That's
who was
right.
only there briefly, and he's now since passed.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw that show. I love Tears Are Falling. Cool tune.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are two definite schools of Kiss, and that is they're the people that are the loyalists to the Ace Frehley lineup,
right?
And then there are those that went through. Let's face it, when and here's the thing: some people don't know about Kiss. Gene Simmons is full of shit. That part you know. But the other part you don't know is, and no, by his own admission, by the way, I'm not bad-mouthing Gene Simmons. It's not like his lawyers are going to come up and go, it's time I
don't ever bad-mouth him.
Right. No, Gene is, this has been coming out over the past couple of years. It's Paul Stanley's band. It's Paul Stanley's band. If Gene says jump, Paul Stanley says, you jump. And Gene goes, all right, well, maybe I'll do that.
What's the deal with Gene Simmons having his own band together and doing these little shows now and all kinds of stuff?
Well, that's to sell that vault that he did, that huge vault thing, a bunch of unreleased Kiss stuff. And
is that what that is?
And it's a bunch of his solo stuff. I mean, I'm sure Gene writes a ton of music.
Right.
But yeah, he put out this thing called The Vault. And it is, I think it's called The Vault. And it's expensive. And he went around and he did these guitar clinic things. And he brought out, believe it or not, Vinnie Vincent, and he brought out Bruce Kulick, and he brought out...
I saw some Vinnie Vincent stuff.
And I think...
Is Vinnie a woman now?
I don't know.
You know the whole thing?
Yeah, he's... Look, to each their own. I don't know what's going on with Vinny, and
Vinny sort of turned into an old woman.
And here's the thing: he's kept his mouth shut about it. Like people have asked him about it, and he's like, I don't really want to get into it. Like he's transitioning or something. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to badmouth Vinnie Vincent. He was a sick guitar player. It
probably all started because the guys in Kiss made him wear those high heels. And then it just sort of grew from there.
No, Vinny is an underrated guitar player. He's a guy that, and here's the thing: if Kiss were so pissed off at him, why did they allow him to continue to write records for them? I mean, they wrote songs on.
He wrote a lot of stuff with them.
On Revenge, yeah. He came back. He was hired as a songwriter a couple times. Oh, wow. You look at a Kiss record, it'll say V. Cusano. That's Vinnie Vincent's real name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if you see Vincent Cusano, that's Vinny. He's a songwriter. So yeah, he did a lot of that. But I think that the Gene Simmons thing is a tour to to reintroduce some of the former members of Kiss, because he had Peter Criss come out with him. He's had a couple of guys that have been in Kiss.
Tell you,
out with him. I think they're going to do a final tour with everybody.
I love Peter Criss's voice. He was so scratchy, and when he would do like Black Diamond back in like '75, that was good stuff.
He's got a real Rod Stewart thing going there.
He does.
Yeah, real
it's
crunchy.
Raspy.
Yeah, that's filthy. It's a filthy voice.
I like the bands that give you 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 lead singers. Everybody gets a shot at it. Styx did that really well.
The rule with Kiss was Gene Simmons said that there were going to be 2 bands on the face of the earth that you could identify just by looking at a picture of them. One was the Beatles, and the other one was Kiss. And the whole idea was all the Beatles sang, everybody in Kiss will sing.
Right.
That was the original plan. And then I don't know if Bruce or Mark St. John or Vinnie Vincent could ever sing, but that sort of went by the wayside.
Yeah.
But the original 4, all of them had to sing.
Right.
Sing is a strong word when we're talking about Ace Frehley, too. And again, I say this as a huge Kiss fan. I love the band.
Oh, you know what song I like the most is Rock Soldiers.
Yeah.
That
was his big comeback record.
Yeah.
I think my favorite Kiss song is their cover of the Stones' 2000 Men on Dynasty. Yeah. You want to get obscure? We'll get obscure. One. Yeah. So yeah, I fell in love with Les Paul guitars, and my first one, like most people, was an Epiphone. And then after I bought an Epiphone, I ended up with a studio. And after a studio, I went to a standard traditional, and it's almost like the Gibson people built those guitars specifically to go step by step by step. So I don't own a deluxe. I've never owned a deluxe. I've never owned a custom. So I've got...
There's a deluxe right there in your lap.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of a lot of money, but...
I love these guitars. These are the 2 greatest guitars ever made, right here. It's the Les Paul and the Stratocaster. Everything else is a variation off of these 2.
So what about the old Desert Island? If you had the Kiss catalog compared to the Van Halen catalog, including all the Sammy stuff, what are you going to take to the Deserted Island?
How many do I get?
You get the entire Kiss collection, or you get the entire VH collection?
Oh no, I'd rather have the Van Halen collection. Kiss made more records. Van Halen made better records.
I agree.
So, I don't think the jury's out on that one, and that's pretty clear.
I saw a YouTube video of John Scott Soto.
Jeff Scott Soto.
Jeff, that's right. Jeff Scott Soto singing some Van Halen. Amazing.
Yeah, he's on one of those tribute albums. They do those tribute albums. I think it was you got a bad lead.
Wow, how about that?
That sounds good. Yeah, he does a lot of those tribute stuff. Jeff Scott Soto, he was Yngwie Malmsteen's singer for a while.
I saw
great set of pipes
down at Celebrity Theater back in the '80s. I was just blown away by Yngwie. I also saw Yngwie back in the day when Talus opened up.
Love Talus. Love Talus. Billy Sheehan's first band of note. Fun fact: you mentioned Van Halen earlier. 1981 Fair Warning Tour. Talus opens for Van Halen, and there was allegedly an overture made to try and get Billy Sheehan to join Van Halen and kick Michael Anthony out in 1981.
That's bullshit, man. Michael Anthony brought so much magic to the vocals of that band. And you can't, nobody sings like that.
No, and it was cool that they let him, during the Sharon years, which a lot of people don't talk about, they let him sing some lead, which I thought was kind of neat.
Somebody Give Me a Doctor.
Yeah.
That turned out great.
No, he's Michael Anthony, nicest guy in the band.
He could front his own band.
Smartest guy in the band.
Hey, I heard that Wolfie's got a new record coming out.
Yeah, he's tweeting out stuff about how it's done and it's mixed and it's ready to go. He's been working on it for like 3-4 years. But what else does Wolfgang Van Halen have to do? It's not like he has a job.
He could go try to get some chicks.
No, what's amazing about Wolfgang, there's a video out there, and you can watch this on YouTube. You'll see it on just Google another YouTube video of Tremonti, Mark Tremonti from Creed and Alter Bridge. He's got his own band called Tremonti. So they're playing in LA, and out of the blue comes Wolfgang Van Halen to sit behind the drums.
Wolfie's versatile.
The kid can play everything.
Yeah.
I mean, when your uncle is Alex Van Halen, who, by the way, is the driving force behind Van Halen. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Listen to a Van Halen record. I don't care if it's Sammy or Dave. Listen to a Van Halen record. If the drums are kicking ass, it's a good Van Halen record. If the drums sound like shit, it's not the best Van Halen record.
Like 5150.
5150, I hate those drums. That's not
Yeah.
that record. I love the record because it was so different. You know, obviously it was the introduction of a new band.
Right.
But those drums sound like shit because they're Simmons drums, electronic Simmons drums, and they don't hold up.
It worked for Def Leppard.
Different. Def Leppard had a need.
Yeah.
But no, that's the only part of 5150 that doesn't hold up is the drum tracks. But if you listen to the Fuck record, listen to
Don't say that word.
right For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
There you go.
Listen to that record. Listen to the new one, Different Kind of Truth.
Right.
And listen to.
Oh, I love that. The new album. I love the new album. I bought the new album the day it came out. I stuck it in my CD player in my truck, and I forced myself to listen to it.
And you had to because you had to listen.
Seriously forced myself to listen to it.
Yeah, you had to because it started with Tattoo.
I know. And then She's a Woman was okay.
Yep.
Out of Space, I love that song.
Yeah.
Just a lot of good stuff on that.
You know what's funny is a lot of Van Halen took a lot of heat for going back to old demos. You know what I mean? Demos and stuff like that and putting them on that record.
Why not take the best of those? Let's make it traditional. Let's make a traditional Van Halen album.
Led Zeppelin did the same thing. The Beatles did the same thing. The Stones have done the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, if there's only back in the day when it was vinyl records, they could only last about 42, 43 minutes to get the grooves done right.
Right.
So you can only fit 8 or 9 songs on a record. Now that you've got CDs, you can do 13 or 14. So if they write a dozen songs and 8 or 9 of them make the cut, yeah, there's 2 or 3 left over that could be used later. I mean, Houses of the Holy from Led Zeppelin was written for an album called Houses of the Holy, but it didn't come out until Physical Graffiti.
I think the song House of Pain was written before their first album.
It was on their first demo.
It came out on 1984, I think that came out on that one.
Yeah, that was on their first demo. There's a lot of stuff like that. Bands hold back music all the time. I think it's a cheap cop-out. I think it's just for people looking for an excuse to rip on a band.
The other night, a good friend of mine, you guys might know him, but Glenn that's in here a lot, he got us tickets to go see Eddie Money.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. The first 5 minutes of being in there, he's got all his kids playing with him now. And he's got his daughter in the band. And he's got this reality TV show. Have you seen anything about Eddie Money's reality TV show?
I think it's on Access TV, and I see the commercials for it when I'm watching other stuff.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the show, no. But I got to assume it's going to be kind of like the Osbournes or kind of like Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. Like, I know the formula.
What if Gene's family, Nick, isn't that the kid's name?
Yeah. And his
What if
incredibly
those
hot
guys
daughter,
played
Sophie.
in his band? And you know what I'm saying? These kids are making careers for themselves now.
Do you know who came up with the idea for that kind of a show first? Dee Snider.
Oh yeah.
Dee Snider.
I watched that.
Dee Snider. No. He had a.
There's a little fun on me with the other night at the show. That's Jesse Money right there.
Jesse Mahoney.
Mahoney. Okay.
Yeah, well, they're the Moneys, the Mahonies. He still refers to himself as the Money Man, by the way. No matter what, he'll always call himself the Money Man. Hey, it's the Money Man, Eddie Money. That's like, he's such a Long Island guy. Or Staten Island. I don't know which one he's from. He's from one of the islands in New York. And
so my first impression of the show is like, I'd rather see some 60-year-old man playing a Strat or a Les Paul and just through an old Marshall or something. But instead he had his kids out there playing.
Right.
And I mean, they were average. They could play the songs. Musically, it sounded good. But after, and so at the very first impression, it was like, oh man, this is kind of lame. But then after you think about it a little bit, I guess it's pretty cool to get your kids involved like that.
Well, we were just talking about Van Halen. I mean, he's got his. That's the whole reason why Van Halen's still together. It's because Eddie wanted to jam with his kid. Now, here's my idea. And Janie Van Halen, who is the manager of the band and publicist of the band, not manager, she's their publicist, and Eddie's wife.
Oh.
Janie, if you're watching this, here's my $1 million idea. I'm going to give it to you for free. I don't know why I would do that. Call Michael Anthony, get him back in the band. Put Wolfie on rhythm guitar, and let Eddie and Wolfie trade licks in a live environment on stage. How sick would that be?
And then you'd have those legendary background vocals that are the only reason well, it's not the only reason, but I really loved Van Halen because when those two guys would sing together.
But if they did that, if they were to do, this is their 40th anniversary and they're not doing shit.
What about just let Wolfie's band, his new album, be the opening band? He'd sell.
And that's fine. Have him, but what I'm saying is have him open.
Everybody at that show would buy the album or the CD or download it or whatever. So whatever happens.
So Wolfgang has his band, whatever his band consists of. They open the show, right?
Right.
Then Van Halen comes out, Michael Anthony on bass guitar, Wolfgang on rhythm guitar or second lead guitar, call it whatever you want. And let's face it, Eddie getting an opportunity to actually trade guitar licks with his kid, it's a little different than playing bass. And don't get me wrong, other than Billy Sheehan, there aren't many lead bass players out there. Chris Squire was a lead bass player, but there aren't guys that take over the band with their bass playing. So
Eddie could pull his keyboard back out too.
Right, he could pull the keyboard out and although Dave wouldn't be happy about that, but I think nowadays Dave doesn't really care. Dave's just happy to be working.
I think so.
Yeah, he's happy to not be playing the state fair.
I would love to see them do some more shows, and I would love to see Dave get rid of his dance floor.
Well,
he's got the 12 by 12 dance floor, and they go around and they put I don't know what they put on it. Yeah, so he can slide around.
So he can do a soft shoe.
I'm saying, Dave, grab the mic, have a teleprompter in front of you, and sing the songs as close to the album as you could possibly do it, and try very hard.
Halen. That's not what you're going to the show for.
I know, that's it. I went and saw him a couple years ago, and I'm like, okay, I have to just accept the fact Dave's not going to sound like the record.
Plus, well, he never did. He never sounded like the record.
Sometimes.
He never sounded like the record. Holy shit. What concert were you at?
1984.
He was terrible.
1984, they did Pretty Woman. You know what? He sang the cover tunes they did closer than his original tunes. Did you ever notice that?
Oh, he had a reference point. You got to hear how it was actually sung, as opposed to having to make up his own.
Right.
Look, by his own admission, Dave's a stylist. He's not a singer. I mean, he does his thing. But he's better than he gets credit for. He's a good blues singer. And he's got. I mean, he can do jazz. He can do. I mean, he's not.
And again, when I saw that Jeff Scott Soto singing "Light Up the Sky,"
right,
and hearing how good that was, I'm like, God, Dave was so good back in those days. You know, he was so good.
The lead singer, what does he call himself on for Steel Panther? Michael Diamond, I think is what he calls himself.
Michael Starr.
No, is it Michael Starr? Oh, Michael Starr. Okay, there you go. Ralph Sands is his name. Ralph was in. We used to refer to him as David Lee Ralph. He was
Punks, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was living David Lee Roth's life. You would see him at all the strip bars in L.A. Is sitting in the spot where Dave used to sit back in the day, and he was literally living David Lee Roth's life. And rightfully so, because when he was in Atomic Punks, they were phenomenal. They were fantastic. They were as good a tribute band as you'll ever see. And he got the raps down in between songs. He was perfect. So it can be done. People can sing like David Lee Roth.
Do you think
David Lee Roth can't sing like David Lee Roth.
Has the Van Halen guys ever thought, maybe we should hire Ralph to go out and do the Dave part?
Well, Dave hired Bart Walsh, who was the guitar player for Atomic Punks, and he played with them back in the late 90s.
The Sam and Dave tour.
I think it was even before that. It was late 90s. Dave put out a record that most people don't know about called DLR Band.
DLR, I remember that one.
The DLR Band.
King of the Hill.
Yeah.
King of the Hill.
Slam Dunk. The guy that played guitar on that record, his name is John Lowry, who you know as John 5 from Marilyn Manson.
John 5 did that album?
Yes.
Wow.
So, and there's actually allegedly a second record that they worked on that is supposed to be coming out at some point. But John Lowry's a huge Van Halen fan. John Five is a huge Van Halen fan. And before, this was like somewhere between when he had been between Manson's band and Rob Zombie's band. He did this record with Dave. Dave put it out on his own record label called What Was That Records.
I think he did a Karma Sutra record.
No, you're thinking of Magna Carta. That was the Diamond Dave record.
That's right.
The one where he did
a lot of blues
bunch of blues covers and stuff. Yeah, Doors
I like
covers.
that record.
It was a cool record. See,
you know what's weird? Best Buy, it doesn't sell CDs anymore.
As of July 1st.
Why is that? What are we supposed to do?
I mean, this is two old guys now.
Are they selling vinyl?
Yes. And
they're going to sell vinyl. They're not going to sell CDs.
Want to hear something really screwed? I don't know why I didn't say fuck there. One of the things that is freaking me out is they re-released the Led Zeppelin catalog a couple of years ago.
Right.
And they put it out on vinyl. So you go into your local CD shop or book shop or wherever it is that you want to go, and you look for Led Zeppelin 2 on vinyl. And it's a double record, and it's on that 180 gram vinyl. You know what they wanted for it?
A lot of money.
$29.
Okay.
$30 for a vinyl record that we bought back in the day for $5.98.
Right.
$30. Now, remember back when CDs first came out and people bitched and moaned that we had to pay $15 for a CD?
$18.
Yeah. Yeah. So the weird thing about it is vinyls outsold CDs last year, and I think, believe it or not, a lot of bands were actually re-releasing stuff on cassette. Good luck finding.
That's crazy.
In fact, the new Guns N' Roses box set, the one that cost you $1,000, it's called the Locked and Loaded edition.
It's actually on cassette tape?
There's a cassette of the Guns N' Roses original demo tape in the box.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of CDs. It's like 4 CDs and like a Blu-ray player and a bunch of lithographs and stuff. But in like a quote-unquote secret compartment.
Okay.
There's a original copy of, not original copy, but a copy of their original demo tape.
That's cool.
So cassettes now are starting to make a comeback.
That's weird.
So maybe, just maybe, there's hope for guitars. Maybe
Guitar's going to make a comeback.
Well, it is coming back as an industry.
Right.
But a bunch of guitar companies are hurting right now, which is why I buy used. I like
the
new
line
guitars.
of Gibson stuff is out.
Yeah, they leaked their 2019 line. They leaked it on their website a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And it was. I don't like the new colors. They've got something. They've got.
Do they still have the Les Paul with the racing stripes?
Yeah, that's one that looks like that. It's supposed to look like a 1970s custom van. It's like silver with that. Remember the shitty Ford Econoline vans? They were gray on the top and black on the bottom, and they had like an orange and a yellow, or orange, yellow, and red stripe down the middle of them, like racing stripes.
It'd be fun to have one.
No, it would not.
I would not.
It'd be hideous. That's hideous. It's an ugly guitar. It suddenly makes people want the robot
I'm talking
back.
about the actual Econoline.
Oh, the van, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that would be good, yeah. But you have to, it's a shaggin' wagon. You have to, you have to put carpet in the back of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Gibson's going to be okay.
Oh, yeah, no, Gibson's not going anywhere. Don't worry about that.
They're going to be okay.
You know what? Gibson went bankrupt. It's got nothing to do with quality control. I mean, everybody bitches about quality control.
Right.
And that's
it's got nothing to do with actually manufacturing guitars.
No, they bought a bunch of different consumer electronics companies and mismanaged their money. They over-leveraged their debt. And it came back to bite them in the ass. But Gibson guitars aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's always going to be, there's always going to be a Strat. There's always going to be a Les Paul. Great guitars don't go away. I mean, let's face it. Gibson was almost done 2 other times, and they've always come back. That's a good chord right there. That's a nice ring.
He's got the little mini humbuckers, they call them. A lot of guys back in the day would actually route these out and put regular humbuckers in these things.
Well, these humbuckers are Epiphones.
Wow.
The original, when they in the 70s,
right?
Well, Gibson bought Epiphone in 1957. So back in the 70s, they had all these extra parts laying around.
Right.
So they said, well, why aren't we using these? Why don't we do this? So let's put them in. So if you look at it, the routing is almost the same size as a regular pickup. The ring around the pickup, the mini pickup, is a huge, thick soap bar. but the body routing is almost the same as the normal size. So these were originally Epiphone leftover pickups back in the 70s that they just decided to put to use.
I think they sound great.
No, they're good. These are, and again, this is another weird Les Paul that people dig on now. And again, it was Pete Townsend that made this popular. He was the guy that did it. If you watch The Who at the Isle of Wight, he's got one, the one that's got all the numbers on it.
The most famous is when he's holding that SG up like this, though. He used to just take this Gibson SG and throw it, and yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch. The Who had that. The Who, in my opinion, they were a little tiny bit sloppy here and there. The songwriting was kind of a little weird English kind of Monty Python style. It was kind of weird.
They invented punk.
That's right.
The Who and the
there
Kinks.
was a spot, especially there was a spot that every once in a while the Who would be into the middle of a jam and it would turn magical just for a little short time. I'm talking about in the Woodstock movie, the Woodstock album, The Who Live at Woodstock, during Magic Bus. That was such a kind of a corny little song from the studio album, but the live, they just would cut loose, and that's kind of where Van Halen, a lot of bands, they didn't have to be 100% structured every minute through the song. You have times where you can cut loose, and The Who was the band that did that.
Well, this is almost sacrilege to say, but it's not like Pete Townsend is a great songwriter, a great riff writer, one of the greatest riff writers of all time, but not the most technically gifted player. And I'm not saying that I'm not shitting on Pete Townsend. Pete Townsend's awesome.
Right.
But when you think of like greatest guitar players of all time, the Claptons, the Gilmores, the Hendrixes, the Van Halens and stuff,
right.
Pete Townsend doesn't get mentioned a lot of time because he played just
right. Yeah.
I mean, it was just power chords and
little
stuff.
riffs.
Yeah, you didn't hear these big magical solos.
No. I never heard a delay or overdrive well, there was some overdrive, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But,
Pete's responsible for the Marshall stack.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So he's the guy that said, "Hey, I need more amplifiers. Make them bigger. Make them louder." So, but he's not a technical virtuoso.
Right.
Amazing songwriter, amazing multi-instrumentalist.
I saw The Who once, and this was only maybe about 5 years ago. And unfortunately, it was the Quadrophenia album in its entirety.
Well,
I was like, oh, please. Quadrophenia. Oh, this whole concert's just Quadrophenia. I knew like one song off that album. Maybe two songs that had a little familiar. And thankfully, they did like 5 songs after the album was over. But yeah, I had to sit through the whole Quadrophenia album. It was tough. You need to tune that thing there.
I need to learn.
You know that rumor? It's all in the fingers. There's those guitar players that could take a guitar out of tune and still make it sound good.
Yeah, guys.
Watch some of those videos where the guys they hand you, or you break a string on a Floyd, but you still get through your guitar solo.
You know, I mean, you want to see something amazing. If you've never seen It Might Get Loud, which is a documentary about guitar and how it affected Jimmy Page and The Edge from U2 and Jack White. Jack White builds a guitar during this. He takes a block of wood, takes a nails a pickup to the block of wood, takes a string, tightens it up and stuff, takes a slide, just plays it.
Yeah.
I sat back and think to myself, I am not a Jack White fan, I'm not a White Stripes fan, but the guy gets it. He gets it. He's so good.
Basically, you're making a string, a steel string, or a nylon string. You're making it vibrate. All right, so again, I want to thank NeanderPaul over here for hanging out with us today. If you like the video, leave it in the comments. Let us know if you want to make more of these style of videos. And you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys later. Thanks again, Paul. Bye-bye.